In today's video, I'm gonna break down exactly how you can build your personal brand that is so powerful, so magnetic, that it attracts the right opportunities, people, relationships, and recognition automatically. Since you're tuning into my channel, you're likely already successful, or at least you're on your way to success. You've done a lot already, and you've probably heard the term personal branding thrown around thousands of times. It's one of those things that means something different to every person. If you had 10 people define it, they would define it in completely different ways. It's almost gotten so cliche and corny. Everyone has a personal brand. It just might be not very good. Most of the personal branding techniques that you see are actually things that are gonna hurt your personal brand. They kind of either go so authentic that it does nothing and doesn't relate to anybody, or so inauthentic that it just gets a lot of random views that really don't mean anything. It's kind of why some people are all in on TikTok, 1 million TikTok followers, but the people aren't really there to buy your thing, purchase your consulting, your coaching, your service. A lot of times, it's actually more effective to have a private Instagram account, for example. We have 12 archetypes that my agency and I, we assess and we go through and work you through. Now, maybe you've even spoken or worked with agencies who promised you the world or even actually do get you a little bit of bump or a little bit of success. Or worse, you might already have a personal brand, but it's just not moving the needle at all. If you think you already know what personal branding is, let me challenge that for a minute. A truly impactful personal brand, it isn't just about aesthetics or visibility or views or followers. It's about creating power, the kind of power and impact you have that draws people to you automatically. It's almost like a K factor. A K factor, for example, with an app is for every download that you get, how many people also download. It's kind of like a network marketing effect, essentially, of virality. Now, it's not about just going viral. It's about what is the actual talk of the town about you. You could have oftentimes this curated negative reputation in a certain way if that negative reputation actually doesn't impact the core people that you actually want. What we're talking about here is building your future cult now. Now, I don't use that word cult lightly. What I mean is, if there's a favorite coffee shop that you go to, that coffee shop has a cult of people that will pay $3 to $8 more for that cup of coffee because they absolutely are a cult of that coffee shop. Why do you think the most expensive coffee shops in your town sell hoodies, t-shirts with their logo on it or a mug? And you're willing to pay 2 or 3 times the amount of money for a t-shirt because of that. Whether it's Nike with Just Do It, whether it is a influencer that you follow, there's some sort of cult that they're following. And if you shy away from that aggressive word, what ends up happening is you just build a more ineffective personal brand. It's really the kind of power that you want to create is one that makes you unforgettable. The truth is, most agencies, most growth operators, gurus, whatever, they focus on surface level branding. When they focus on surface level branding, we're talking about social media posts, maybe fancy logos, maybe even a website or funnel, but they completely miss the core of what makes a personal brand truly successful. So what separates the brands that fail from the ones that succeed? A successful personal brand is strategically positioned and designed to amplify not just your visibility, but your core values. It aligns with your unique goals and makes the right people see you as the only person who can solve their problems, provide what they need. They look at you as their drug. They look at you as their source of solving their lack of status, their problem that needs to get solved. They truly look at you as their savior. That's really the key here. Most personal brands fail because they lack depth. They simply are surface level. They focus on being liked instead of being respected. They rely on shallow tactics, posting motivational quotes, random reels, AI-generated whatever, or trendy content that doesn't reflect who you are or what you stand for. That is why they do not work. And most of the personal branding that you see, the reason why personal branding, it almost has this cliche negative connotation in the PR world is because that is the ocean of what you see. Here's what actually works. A personal brand that is rooted in strategy. Every decision, every piece of content, every interaction must be intentional and aligned with your ultimate goals. There's this triangle of who you currently are, doing just purely what works, and then the top of that triangle is becoming who you actually want to become. That is really the trifecta. A personal brand that's holistic. It's not just about Instagram likes or TikTok views. It's about what people say about you when you are actually not in the room. What do they say to their girlfriend or boyfriend about you? What are they ranting and raving about, either arguing against something that you said or arguing for something that you had said? It's those arguments that are created from your personal brand that truly builds the cult of you. A personal brand that builds power and exclusivity. You're not trying to appeal to everyone. You're creating a presence that high-value individuals that you define as high value cannot ignore. This is exactly how Elevate Your Brand, my agency, and myself have helped everyone from Iman Gaji, Grego Gallagher, Vegas Dave, dozens and dozens of other high performers. That some of these have big online personalities. Some of them have very strong personalities offline that attract wealth, influence, and opportunities. It works, and I'm gonna break them down into categories so you can easily follow along. What I'm about to explain to you is truly priceless information. Some of the tactics that I'm going to explain to you, some of the strategies I have learned over traveling the world for 15 years, consulting with building the personal brands and real-world social circles that have generated the most immense transformations you have ever seen. It's a behind-the-scenes look at how to build a personal brand that makes you unforgettable in your industry, in your life. A brand that creates not just short-term success, not just some fancy photos, but long-term legacy. Pull out your notepad, have it ready, and let's jump into it. Category 1, branding foundations. The first mechanism I want to talk about is Superman's phone booth. This is all about creating an immediate perception shift when you enter any room. Imagine the impact you'll have when you walk into a meeting, even a date, an event, or even a casual encounter, and instantly people see you as someone of influence and importance. That's the kind of power I'm talking about here. Superbrand's phone booth is the strategy I use to help you take the world's perception of you from average to iconic in a split second. It's like having a phone booth in your pocket that takes you from Clark Kent to Superman that lets you transform into the person you want to be seen as instantly. We even use Superbrand's phone booth in a almost Inception kind of way, where I show you how to create your own Superbrand's phone booth for the people viewing you, clients, dates, business partners, family, people in your life that you truly want to be a part of the you cult, your you army. I actually show you how to take your Superman's phone for yourself and deploy that as a technique for everyone in your life. Next up is PDE. This is a concept I created over 10 years ago called primary driver emotion. Every personal brand has an emotional connection, whether it's desire, status, inspiration, or aspiration. With PDE, we identify the core emotion you want to trigger in your audience by identifying their PDE, and we build that around everything. Everything we build is around that PDE. We first start with your PDE, that when you're building a personal brand, we have to identify what is your actual primary driver emotion. What is your BHAG, your big, hairy, audacious goal, and what hits you hard? Then we identify the PDE of the people that you want in your you army. When you know the emotion that drives your audience, you can craft every bit of messaging, every comment, every caption, every single piece of messaging from you or your brand, your company, and experiences that resonate on a much deeper level, a visceral level. This is how you go from being just another professional, another entrepreneur, to becoming someone people just can't help but talk about. It becomes addictive. It becomes the you drug. Something that we talk about in our programs and in our consulting very deeply is how do we get you into the veins of your target demographic? We take your archetype and their avatar, and we create that actual IV drip from you to them. TCP, taste, culture, preferences. This is another foundation. We're not just crafting a brand that looks good. You want to avoid the metaphorical and literal Photoshop. We're crafting a brand that feels right. Everything about your brand, your values, your preferences, even the type of music you listen to the brand of jeans you wear, should reflect who you truly are, what works, and who you're truly trying to become. This is a powerful mechanism because when your brand is aligned with your truly natural and authentic tastes and preferences, then it becomes authentic. Authenticity is magnetic and it's powerful, but it's not inherent. Most people, when they try to be authentic, they actually create authenticity resistance. And that's what you're trying to avoid, and that's what we show you how to do. Category 2, building influence. Now, let's talk about order of impact. This is the strategy for strategically positioning yourself to create impact over time, in perpetuity, with continuity. The key to sustained influence isn't about doing everything at once. It's not one big bang. It's about knowing when to act, when to pull back, when the strike while iron is hot, and when to escalate and stack your order of impact. With order of impact, we create a roadmap for your brand that gradually builds momentum. The snowball gets packed, and you're not just a flash in the pan. You're creating this lasting influence that only grows over time. And at a certain point, what ends up happening is you just get the invites, you just get the leads, you just get the sales, you just get introduced to to the potential partners, the men and women that you're actually trying to meet, instead of you having to force it every time. Targeted captivation. Now, this is all about building a lifestyle. That's what we're talking about here. And a brand that is magnetic. Imagine living a life so attractive, so inspiring, so full of opportunity and excitement that the people you want to meet, they're just naturally drawn to you. That's what targeted captivation does. It is about designing your life so that you become the kind of person others want to connect with and be a part of. It's not who you know or what you know, it's who knows you. In essence, we take the filter off the photo. In reality, you should be able to take these concepts I'm showing you and have your friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, roommate, just be able to take, once you deploy these concepts, they should be able to take an iPhone and get all of the content that you need for your business, your brand, your social life, and not have to edit these photos, not have to embellish anything. Take that filter off if you follow these concepts, the literal filter and metaphorical filter, and that's where true success becomes. That's where the impact is. Next up is BHAG. Your BHAG is your big, hairy, audacious goal. It's your Gary Vee buying the jets. When Gary Vee was first talking about buying the jets, it was just him and D-Rock with a camera. He was a few years out of the wine library business, or he was probably still in it a little bit. And he would talk about, hey, I'm buying the jets. I don't want you to play small anymore. It's actually easier to build a massive personal brand. Doesn't necessarily mean followers. A massive personal brand, meaning your targeted 1,000 true fans. That is really the key here. There's a concept called the Fickle 500. The Fickle 500 is every city, every town, when a new restaurant, a new nightclub, a new thing opens up, there's a group of 500 tastemakers. That's the Fickle 500. The Fickle 500 is the key here. I don't want you to play it small anymore. I want you to set a goal that challenges you in every way. If the goal doesn't make you a bit uncomfortable, almost even embarrassed to tell people, then it's not what we're talking about here. Your BHAG is the kind of goal that might seem absolutely impossible, even ludicrous, even to have people laughing in your face. But it excites you, pulls you forward, and inspires people around you. Your team, it's internal marketing. Your BHAG has to be so crystal clear and larger than life. Now, this is how you start to build a brand that not only attracts more people, but it creates momentum into your career, your life, and your business, and everyone around you. Category 3, leveraging resources and connections. There's certain key concepts here that we'll dive into a lot deeper and that we actually take every client through, which is called spillover resources, value arbitrage. Spillover resources is knowing the fact that, here's one simple example. It's significantly easier to drive a Ferrari for free for the next 6 months than it is to drive a Honda. What I mean by that is this. For the most part, if someone has a Toyota or a Honda, it's their only car. You're kind of taking that resource from their pie. But pretty much nobody has a Lamborghini or Ferrari as their only car. It's their second car or even their third car, or even a house, for example. It's a lot easier to take 5 people, see what their spillover resources are, align them together. Now, where value arbitrage kicks in is what ends up happening is you are actually keeping the chips on the table. You're not getting your couple chips that you have. You're actually taking stock of your network and what resources you already, this is what we do. We figure out, hey, what resources do you already have and do you not have? What is your SWOT analysis? What is your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats that a lot of times consultants would go into a business and assess, but most personal brands don't actually take a look at this. There are so many untapped opportunities in your existing network that you aren't seeing. With this mechanism, we teach you how to spot those opportunities and absolutely make the most of them. Kick the chessboard over. It's like seeing the resources that are already around you, but have been overlooked, even underutilized, or even underappreciated. These spillover resources can help you level up faster than you've ever thought possible. We literally take time and shrink the concept of time and flip it on its head. We turn time into a Rubik's Cube more than a ruler. Value arbitrage is about getting more out of your existing resources and actually helping them by connecting them. When you understand how to maximize the value of the people and tools, resources around you, connections around you that you naturally already have, you start to see such a massive return on investment, often without spending a dime. This is how high performers consistently get ahead, by using everything at their disposal, looking at all of the puzzle pieces on the table to its maximum potential. Then there's the halo effect. You might have heard halo effect before as being the most popular, as being the most talented. The thing with halo effect is it's the tall poppy. The halo effect is about exclusivity, it's about competency, It's really what the ultimate goal is of building your personal brand. It's the power of building that reputation so strong that it not only precedes you everywhere you go, but it is your true marketing and sales team. Your halo effect is what everything is pointing to. All of these concepts, these categories, these tactics, these theories that I'm showing you are the bricks to the castle that is your personal brand. Every single brick that we're putting in place, every moat that we put is building your personal brand to be your best savings account, your best investment raiser, your best dating coach, your best friend. This halo effect that we're creating ultimately will transcend down among that castle, among every single brick in that castle. When you master the halo effect, people not only know who you are before you even say a word, but oftentimes what ends up happening here with halo effect is your reputation becomes so magnetic for the best people and the best opportunities that it's all about creating and demanding that exclusivity. Your halo effect becomes even more than a currency for yourself. Category 4, clarity and legacy. A mechanism I use with every client we consult with is the decision letter. This is an absolute prerequisite. This is a personal exercise where we define 5 things you're stepping into and 5 things you are stepping out of, 5 things you're letting go of. This clarity exercise is the ultimate inner game, the ultimate mentality hack. This exercise helps you align your actions with your brand's values, goals, ensuring that every single thing that you do, every phone call you make, every text that you send, every action you take, from the minute your eyes wake up in the morning to when your eyes close at night, the moves you make are closer to your desired impact. The magic wand exercise. It's a fun but incredibly powerful mechanism. It forces you to think big about the connections you want to make, whether those connections are clients, partners, mentors, relationships. We identify 5 dream connections that can radically accelerate your personal and professional growth. From there, we build a targeted strategy for making those connections a reality. If you could wave a magic wand in the next 3 months, what does your life look like? Who are you actually grabbing drinks with? Who are you actually having at your place? Who are you actually working with as a client? Then there's the brand legacy question. This is a critical one. What do you want people to say about you when you leave the room? What do those whispers actually say? It's a simple question, but the answer holds the key to creating a brand that's meaningful, impactful, and timeless. The work we do to answer that question will ensure that your brand leaves a lasting impression on the world. Finally, we leverage low-hanging fruit and levers. These are the quick wins, small but strategic action plans that create a massive impact on your brand. I will show you how to spot them. That's usually the trickiest part at first. So I will show you how to spot them. And once you do, you'll start seeing results immediately because you'll see that these are easy levers to pull that then allow you to transcend all of the actions then you must take. So there you have it. These are mechanisms when combined. The key is to stack them together. They will completely change how you build your personal brand. And if you aren't taking action on these, you're literally going backwards. These are concepts and strategies that I have come up with, that I've tested, split tested thousands and thousands of times with clients all around the world that will completely change how you build your personal brand. They will change your messaging. They'll change your conversations. They will make you so magnetic that you are now flipping the power dynamic and you are able to then show everyone in your life who you truly are. If you've ever wondered how some people seem to just effortlessly attract the right people, the right opportunities, the right clients, it's because they've mastered these principles. Oftentimes you've seen someone use 1 or 2 of these principles almost accidentally. I show you, and I've shown all of my clients in Elevate Your Brand, how to stack these techniques and concepts in the right order and rush into all of them all together so that you actually can have success. Now, go ahead and make sure that you click the link below to see how my team and I can actually implement these strategies directly for you. By the end of the call, you'll actually be able to have a roadmap where you can go ahead and do it on your own or work with my team to do it for you and actually work one-on-one with me to implement these strategies for you like I have my other clients. But I'm going to actually release more videos unpacking these concepts that I've previously had the veil up. I've previously had the curtain up because I've gate kept them for our closest one-on-one clients. I'm going to start releasing more videos about how to actually dive into these concepts and implement them. So make sure you subscribe and keep watching.